Dear colleagues, good afternoon. We continue our working day in the Ukraine Crisis Media Center. My name is Valentin Pugacheva. I am manager of Spokesperson of Peaceful Life Pilot Project of UCMC. Our guest today is Ms. Alla Lazareva, coordinator of Across Europe French NGO. Ms. Lazareva is on Skype connection from France. We will provide simultaneous translation. Ms. Lazareva, can you tell us about your organization, its activities, and when it was established? It was established in 1999. First, it was intended to build in Ukraine into Ukrainian context, and it was aimed as the bridge between France and Ukraine. This was our first 3-4 years of existence of this organization. When the war started, everything changed, and the main activities today are assistance to the affected population in the east of Ukraine. And who created this organization? Well, there were several French persons, several Ukrainian persons who are founders of the organization, the political scientists and politicians who saw that the European Union Association Agreement is very close to signing, and we had the competition of caricatures, and where we thought that the winner would go to France, to Paris, with a visit. So now humanitarian activities are our priority. We shifted the priority from association agreement to assistance to IDPs. First, we would like to get to know more about your previous activities. You said you had organized international contests, and as I know, you also organized journalist missions to Ukraine and from Ukraine to France. Yes, we worked with we cooperated with the Institute of Mass Information in Kiev and other institutions. We had complicated problems with visas for French journalists even to visit Ukraine. And I'm a journalist, and I work for Ukrainian Week in Paris, the correspondent. So my colleagues and me, we tried to influence, to create favorable environment for journalists. It was long ago, in 2000, 2003, it seemed like it was the other life. So we tried to help those French journalists who sought to visit Ukraine and make some reports on Ukraine. And we helped those groups and individual journalists to get Ukraine. And we also help them with translations and interpreting. But it was so long ago. For how long, how many volunteers are working in your organization? All of our staff are volunteers. And are they mostly Ukrainians residing in France? Yes, they are Ukrainians living in France, about 15 persons, and also the community has been helping us with funds and with some sweets. But the key staff are 10 to 15 persons, and also some other volunteers who come from time to time. I would name it the network of mutual assistance. And who funds your activities? Do you use contributions? No, we do not have any funding. Only our own contributions or contributions of some community members in the form of money or in the form of clothing or foods or toys for children. Now we are starting the project when 7 children will come to Switzerland to children's camp to have some rest in Switzerland. They are children of ATO soldiers who died during this warfare. So this is a funds. They have sad history. When she was about to die, she asked us not to bring flowers to her mourning ceremony. She asked us to contribute some money to help children with having a visit to the Swiss camp. How many children will go to the camp? 7 children from different regions of Ukraine. The camp starts on July 4th. The children will come 3 days before so that we can provide them sightseeing tour about Paris. This is a kind of scouting camp. It resembles such features of scouting camps. It is a good place with good nature, and there are sports facilities there. As it was 40 years ago, such conditions like they were 40 years ago. This is for the second time when we organize such camp with an association, medical assistance, medical help, which also is based in Paris. We together, 2 organizations, we arrange these visits to the camp for the children. I would like to understand the logistics. How do you send this assistance to the east of Ukraine? Our audience is 143 families, and we have a coordinator, Adriana Bobnovska, based in Kiev. She has been maintaining contacts with the families every week, every Saturday. We send parcels to the families. A person named Yura Barak, he used his own funds to bring all these things to Ukraine as a messenger. So we usually gather up to 100 kilos because it is hard to those persons who deliver this assistance to bring more things. Now this session of questions and answers. Sergei Malyrchuk, UCMC, thank you very much for joining us today in this project, Spokesman of Peaceful Life. I would like to wish you success and your very respectful activities. Do you maintain contacts with the Ukrainian consulate? And are there any businessmen who are engaged in your activities in France or in Ukraine? With the consulate as a body, we do not have contacts, but consul himself as a person, he is engaged in our activities. As concerns businessmen from France or Ukraine, no, we haven't had contacts with businessmen. We haven't yet engaged them. When it was the time before Christmas, we just spread the message that we request contributions to send some help, to send some goods to Ukraine. This is how we work. The next question. Olena Garkova, UCMC. Are there any French persons who help you? Yes, 50%. 50% are Ukrainians who live in France, and 50% they are French persons who engage in our activities. Are there any French persons who do not have wives or families from Ukraine? Yes, from time to time there are French persons who help us, but in this project we do not have any. Well, yes, all of us have some neighbors, colleagues, so it was unfair to when I said that some French women really sometimes bring some things. They are my personal friends, my colleagues. They do that not to attract some attention to their charity or charitable motives. This is their just impulses. Yes, all Ukrainians, they engage their personal friends to these charitable activities. This is a kind of women's solidarity. Of course it is. Yemets Maria, UCMC, I would like to ask you about 143 families on your list who have been receiving assistance regularly from your organization. How did you compile this list? We got to know that those families lost some members of their families in the struggle for Ukraine to remain Ukraine but not to become part of Russia. So our coordinator Adriana, she has been working with many volunteers, gathering, collecting this information and correcting it so that this list contain just members of the families of those persons who died, and there are also families of those ATO members, soldiers who are now at the front line defending Ukraine. This is the network of assistance to Ukrainian families. So we maintain contacts with volunteers. Adriana maintain contacts with volunteers all over Ukraine to specify the needs. And when she give us information about the needs, then we collect relevant goods and send them. Of course, we ask families to make photos, to make pictures of those parcels they receive, so that we have proofs that the families in fact receive the parcels. Tatiana Agarkova, UCMC, thank you very much, Ms. Lazareva, for your activities and humanitarian assistance activities in particular. I have a question to you as a journalist. In your opinion, today, what media coverage could be made? Is this complex, or is it easy to cover these events in Ukraine, which are happening in Ukraine, to give their coverage in France? You understand this is very important for the society to understand the need of such assistance, and so the population of France provides such help. Yes, this is a problem, and this is a need, this need of Ukrainian society, of Ukrainian population in assistance. It is far less covered in Paris and in France, because they have their own internal domestic problems, some strikes with brutal attacks and protests, so France is now focused on its own domestic affairs. And also in Ukraine, it is hard to understand what is happening in Ukraine. Is this an ATO or a war? That is why it is a complex problem. It is hard to bring attention, to focus attention on Ukraine's problems. When children will visit us, we will also organize some media coverage for French journalists, so that the French journalists can listen to live stories from those children personally. Maybe our communications are not so intensive, because we are volunteers. We have our formal jobs in other sectors. We are not paid salaries for such media coverage activities. We just don't have time. We have time only to collect some seals for parcels and to send parcels to Ukraine. And in Ukraine, at the level of top management, of the leaders of the country, some more precise information should be provided, whether it is war in Ukraine or it is an ATO. And the final questions, how can we contact, how all those people from our audience can contact you? Do you have Facebook page or website page? Of course, we have Facebook page, and our website is now at the stage of development. Maybe for those families who we have been supporting, maybe there are some more families who would like to join, who would like to send us information that they need help. They can in future use our website now, then can send us messages through our Facebook page. You can use our Facebook page. Its name is my name in English. Thank you for your activities, and we hope to have more meetings with you either through Skype connection or in person. Dear colleagues, thank you for watching us, and next